Here's a truth no one talks about. Most families suffer the most before hospice ever begins. It's not just about late referrals. There's a leadership gap when treatments begin to stop working. And in a moment, I'll show you how long that gap lasts, which illnesses drive it, and why hospice comes too late. And let me clear something up right now. Sudden death isn't the main reason people miss out on hospice care. Over 90% of deaths are illness related and predictable. Only 10% are sudden. So why do so many people miss out on hospice? Well, the answer is because referrals are too late. Almost half of hospice admissions are in the final 2 weeks of life, and most follow a crisis that could have been prevented. That's because there's an entire time period most people don't even realize they're in. Something that comes after treatment is no longer working, but before anyone is talking about hospice. It's a painful transition between treatment working and end of life planning. Nearly 40% of people who die will never get emotional or practical preparation, and another 40% enter hospice only after a crisis in their last 2 to 3 weeks of life. Meaning, most suffering happens before hospice has a chance to help. Most dying is happening in that in between time. I'll share in a moment what this means for the family who's watching these final days without any preparation. You can see that not only is hospice coming on too late, but most of our suffering happens before hospice ever begins or has the chance to have real impact. And these aren't exotic conditions, they're everyday illnesses: dementia, heart disease, cancer, lung disease. These make up the bulk of both hospice and pre-hospice cases. And most of the emotional and physical toll strikes during the illness decline, not just at the very end. Later, I'll explain why this matters and how to prepare for the sudden hospital crisis when all that hits. What should be happening when a person gets a diagnosis of serious illness is that they should be getting a treatment plan for cure and a treatment plan to handle all the things we know will happen along with it, like symptoms of the illness and issues that will occur because of the treatments for the illness. For not only the person, but the entire family. They're walking alongside their person and they're seeing everything, and their anxiety is much higher than normal. But that's not happening. There's no second proactive plan to handle these things ahead of time. They only create a plan for cure. Most are assuming their normal protocols will handle anything else that comes up. So if your body is having symptoms that fall within normal expectations of the disease process, and also if your body responds within normal expectations to treatments, medications, and therapies, you're going to be fine. But what if you don't? And this often goes with symptoms getting worse because the body is declining. No one's really addressing that we're in this new phase. This is a true transition point. The person suffers, they can feel things are different. And the families must watch their person go through this without preparation. And here's what happens. Everyone is blindsided, emotionally burned out, overwhelmed, and often silently devastated. The chaos of crisis becomes reality. So we have massive gaps in care in these transition points, from diagnosis with an illness, attempting to cure it, treatments not working, the in-between time, and hospice time. So who's taking charge at this very important transition time of declining health? This is where everyone reports being dropped within the system. This is the time period where many prominent physicians have written books about. They want change just like we do. During this chaotic time, most of us are left without leadership, adrift in a system that doesn't prepare us. And what starts to happen is an unintentional treatment plan begins to take over by default. And it's this: increasing pain and poor symptom management, series of hospital visits due to uncontrolled symptoms, high family anxiety and confusion without much relief, and care feels fragmented. These are the telltale signs of the in-between time. And unless your doctor is good at managing your decline and this in between time, as well as your cure, you'll be flailing in the system. So, this is why we need a different kind of leadership when treatment is no longer the goal. And this is why I've devoted the last 25 years of my life to this time period and teaching others how to manage it so we can reduce the suffering through all these transition points. So stay with me here. I'm about to share 2 key principles families can use, and doulas too, to navigate this time. And I'm not going to go into all the reasons why things are such a mess right now. It won't help. Not right now. But I'm going to give you some very simple things to do that can take you a very long way, believe it or not. So if you're realizing your family is in this position right now, these 2 things will help empower you from now on. First, you need to accept that you're in a different time zone than when treatments were working. You've left Pacific time and now you're in Eastern time. It's a different reality. The rules have changed. And 2, consider that this phrase right now is your new North Star. Every decision you make becomes about right now. What are your goals right now, today? What do you need right now, today? Just start here. And notice nothing I'm saying has to do with how long your person will live. Who even knows how long that'll be? It could be years, it could be days. Right now, you can consider right now as the major consideration in every decision, from what to eat to what treatments to continue. That goes for every member of the family. My special focus in service and in my professional training these last 20 years has been this very specialized time period, this in between time period, which leads into a pre-hospice time period, which leads to hospice if you're lucky, not just end of life. Much of end of life happens during this time. This is where most of the suffering is. And because families aren't getting this direction anywhere. And they need this professional level doula training more than doulas. There's a timeline. I want you to visualize it. There's a point when treatments begin to stop working. Everything prior to that is you're trying to cure and all of that. There comes a time when treatments stop working. And then most people are referred to hospice way down here, 2 weeks to death, right? That's what we were discussing. This long period in between is the in between time. This is when the confusion is, the pain, the burnout, and the despair before any physician recommends hospice. If all this feels familiar, my family program is designed to support caregivers and friends of families as they navigate the care transitions right now. So no matter if the transition from where you are now to the end takes years, months, or ends up only being a few weeks, sometimes that happens. You won't be blindsided. We have a full step-by-step guide of all the phases of this time and what to do within them. We give you your first month of life support for free with our weekly calls. We have a library of workshops and classes and tools. We have special live sessions with guest experts on special topics. Come talk it out with me. We meet every week. There's a link somewhere below. We'll see you soon.